Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and speak with you all. And definitely congratulations to everyone for making it through till now and for really being here to join in the dialogue. And just a little experience share on how participating in the dialogue on SDG can have a major trickle-down effect to everyone around you. So just recently, it was my 9-year-old son's 10th birthday, and we celebrated a couple of weeks ahead of time. And as he was blowing his candles, I told him, don't forget to make a wish. And he said, okay. So he closed his eyes, made a wish, and he said, Dad, I want to tell you what my wish was. I said, no, because it doesn't come true. If you tell me what it was. He said, no, this one I want to tell you. I said, okay. He said, Dad, I wish that the 17 SDGs all come true. All right. Needless to say, my heart melted, and we're not a household that sits around talking about SDGs all day, so really I don't know where he got that from, but just to show that the trickle-down effect is immense and much bigger than what we realize. So what I'm going to share with you all is basically an action platform for a lot of what we've discussed since yesterday, and I'm glad that through our think tank anyway, we all agreed that participation with the UN Global Compact is of relevance. So we can change slide. So towards the end of the last century, Kofi Annan put the wheels into motion for what's now become the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative, which is the UN Global Compact. And the objective was and is to mobilize businesses to meaningfully contribute to the 2030 agenda through a principles-based approach and demonstrate the essential role that the private sector plays in contributing to the broader UN objectives and goals. And really, this is not just you as an individual. This is you as a business owner, as a parent, as someone in your community. So it's really mobilizing everything at large. And we can change. So, we all know that the marketplace has changed. The way we do business has changed. Company life cycles have shrunk from being, several decades now to a few years. So really, sustainability is now a competitive necessity. It's no longer an option. And really, that sustainability in turn nurtures operational efficiency and also creates innovation. So what is the UN Global Compact? I've been asked that many times since yesterday. And basically, it is the backbone of the UNGC is 10 principles of business practice, which are based upon human rights, labor, the environment, and anti-corruption. And these are principles that, when you look into them, the vast majority of us all follow in our businesses. But formalizing it and actually taking a pledge that you will commit to these helps to build a good framework for developing your sustainable SDG journeys in your companies. So the idea is basically, I think a lot of us felt that when you talk about, how do we make the world a more sustainable, better place? We're talking about all these targets, and each individual target could have a whole day of discussion around it. It seems magnanimous. It just seems all too big for us to take home and digest. And I think one thing that's really good about the Global Compact is it breaks things down. It cuts out the complexity. It basically arms you with the right tools to engage effectively in the dialogue, and it allows you to basically help execute sustainable action. And really, it's a platform for us to achieve, in a structured format, a lot of what we've discussed in the last couple of days, since yesterday. So, for instance, we have access to training resources. That was one of the other recommendations that a lot of the think tanks came out with. So there is a huge compendium of online resources which are created by UN world leaders, created by SDG pioneers, created by opinion leaders around the world who spend most of their life focusing on these SDGs. So we don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel in a lot of it. Let's access all these amazing resources that are there for us. And really, you get a voice to participate in the global dialogue on issues not only critical, of course, to the prosperity of the planet, but definitely very relevant to your own businesses. So what you'll see is that, it aligns a lot with what EO stands for and EO's values, building trust and transparency. So as a UNGC participant, you produce every year a communication on progress, or a COP, which basically shares with everyone where you are on your SDG journey and where you'd like more help and where you want to move forward in the next 12 months. And it creates that transparency and shows everyone that you are serious and committed to doing this. And really, it's the training tools along with the rich local and global event calendar, the peer-to-peer learning opportunities, access to various impactful global action platforms that make it an excellent resource for those looking to drive sustainability in their organizations and in their communities. And it's really a platform for sharing best practices through modalities such as peer-to-peer learning. And I'll share with you later how we in our chapter are using EO's expertise to help the UN with this locally. So, why should we make sustainability part of our company's DNA? The proof really is in the pudding. If you look back at about 19 years of when this program's running, the feedback from the participants is that engaging with the UN Global Compact significantly enriched their company. It even helps shape the company's vision in many cases. And I know from being on the Global Compact board locally and working with companies that many of them have taken the CSR fringe activity and now have actually moved it into an actually corporate sustainability agenda. And this has a direct report to the board of the company. So it's really helping drive the direction of where that company goes in the future, which I think is fantastic. So we all like numbers. So let's look at how does the company benefit? What do the numbers say? So we're able to demonstrate that over time, the UNGC companies have a competitive edge to outperform their peers with better stock price and certainly improved ESG scores, which are environment, social, and governance scores. And I'll explain the importance of that. And these are all measurement tools that the UNGC provides and can help you track your progress and benchmark yourself against others in the world. So the higher ESG scores, they've been shown to lead to higher margins, higher market valuations, and even improved creditworthiness. Very relevant to all of us entrepreneurs. And it really is a call to action for all of us in the room, for everyone that wants to make an impact, for virtually every entrepreneur and business owner. And I like how Outside Inc. describes the interplay between CSR and CSE, sort of corporate social entrepreneurship. And really moving away from the kind of just being the do-gooder, being the social entrepreneur, because we know many of the 3,000 plus members who are not in this room, many of them just think we're a bunch of do-gooders that have just got together here, But what they don't realize is what we're talking about is immensely relevant to their business. And that's the message we need to get out there. And I think basically the whole UNGC value proposition applies virtually to every company and every entrepreneur. So basically every EO member. Because when we can tap into that entrepreneurial spirit of business owners to deliver the transformational innovation and to help find solutions to global challenges, this is one of the modalities to do that. So interestingly, if you look at the size of the two organizations, the UN Global Compact is currently virtually almost the same size as EO, which I find a bit interesting as a statistic. And they share many common values: trust and respect, make a mark, a thirst for learning. So it's not just about EO companies benefiting from the UNGC participation and SDG participation. EO can considerably impact the UNGC global movement. We can actually make a serious difference here. Just imagine if every EO company participates with the United Nations Global Compact. We could literally double the global impact of this movement, which is currently the world's largest such movement. So what a mark that would make on the world, and what better PR could we get as an organization? It would be a true global impact on corporate sustainability. So we can help the UNGC also in many other ways. So for instance, I know that they have a problem with companies from Africa not engaging with the Global Compact. We have phenomenal African entrepreneurs. Many of them are here in the room, some of them rather. So just getting them involved in the dialogue would help solve that problem for the Global Compact. So we can help provide solutions to them. So my journey, just to summarize, oh gosh, that's not come out right. Basically, I joined EO in 2012, and I actually heard about the UNGC through EO, interestingly. And my company joined the UNGC in 2015 after I joined as a signatory, which basically means you don't really pay anything. And then subsequently, I said, well, let me see what the value proposition is. And as I interacted more and got more involved with the Global Compact, I started to believe that this is not just a platform for talking and sharing. It's an action platform. So I upgraded our status as a company